Class 6th History Chapter 1 History When, Where and How Part 2 In this video, we will learn about sources of history. Sources of history. The materials used by the historians to study history are known as sources of history. So, sources of history means all the material that is used by the historian to study history. Okay, so there are three types of sources of history: archaeological sources, literary sources, and oral sources. Archaeological sources. The various archaeological sources include monuments, coins, inscriptions and edicts, other objects, artifacts. Monuments. Monuments are old buildings, forts, palaces, temples, or tombs that have historical significance. So, monuments are the old buildings. It may be a fort, a palace, a temple, or tombs where the dead are buried, like Taj Mahal is a tomb, that have historical importance. So, any old building which has some historical importance is a monument. They provide valuable information about the development of art and architecture and social and economic condition of the people of the time in which they were constructed. So these monuments, they provide very useful information about the art that was prevalent in that time, the carvings that were made on the walls, or the paintings, and the style of architecture, what material was used for construction, and also about the social and economic condition of the people. Whether the people of that time were very rich, that depended on how magnificent the monument was. Okay, so this is a picture of Sanchi Stupa. It is also a monument. It has great historical importance. Coins. Coins tell us about kings, the extent of their kingdoms, dates, languages in use, religion of a particular time. So, coins also provide us valuable information. We can gather lot of information from the coins. Like in some of the coins, the portrait and the name of the king is there. So we come to know about which king had issued that particular coin. Then dates are also mentioned. So we come to know that in which date that particular king was there, or that particular king ruled in which period. And the extent of their kingdom, sometimes the coins are found spread out in large areas. Okay, which shows that the kingdom of that particular king must have extended over a large area. Then languages in use. In some of the coins, something is written, then the particular language which is being used in writing that, we come to know about the language which was being used during the period of that king, and also the religion of that particular time, because some of the coins, they have the pictures of gods and goddesses engraved on them. So we come to know that which religion was being followed at that time. Study of coins is called numismatics. Other objects. So besides these monuments and coins, there are several other objects. Like, archaeologists, they find out, explore and unearth tools, weapons, pots, and ornaments by digging under the surface of the earth. What do these archaeologists do? They dig out from under the surface of the earth and they unearth or take out certain weapons, tools, then pots, ornaments. All these are the called other objects. Artifacts. Artifacts refer to the work of art, such as paintings, sculptures, pottery, etc. So these are the pictures of artifacts. So artifacts are the work of art. Any work of art, it may be in the form of sculpture or statue, or the paintings, or the jewelry, or ornaments, or pottery means the clay vessels which were used. Okay, the clay vessels or the dishes, the pots and the other things, those all are included in the category of pottery. Now, inscriptions and edicts. Inscriptions refer to writings on relatively hard surface like stone or metal. So, inscription means writing on hard surface like writings on hard surface like a stone or metal, and how it was done with the help of some sharp object. It was done with the help of some sharp pointed object like a knife or something like that, and the words were inscribed on the stone or metal plates. Okay, you can see the picture. These are the pictures of inscriptions. The writings or whatever is there, the picture, they are inscribed. So these inscriptions, they remain intact. They don't fade. If it is written with some color or something, it might fade or get destroyed. But if it is engraved on something with sharp object, it remains. Okay. So study of inscriptions is called epigraphy. Edicts. The royal commands issued by a ruler. So what are edicts? The royal commands or the commands which are given by the ruler or the farmers, they are called edicts, like Ashoka's edicts. Some of the commands of Ashoka, they were also engraved on pillar. Literary sources. They are mainly written sources. Literary sources means written sources. Whatever was written with hand on either on the bark of birch tree or on palm leaves, that was literary source. Literary source are of three types: manuscripts, religious literature, and secular literature. Manuscript. A manuscript is a handwritten record of information. See, any information which was written by hand, okay, was called a manuscript. They were usually written on palm leaves. So in those days, paper was not there. So people used to write on palm leaves and bark of birch tree or the Bhojpatra. These manuscripts are in the form of epics, which are very long poems and plays. This is a picture of a manuscript. It is written by hand. Okay. Now, religious literature. Books and manuscripts that deal with religion are called religious literature. So, any book or a manuscript, handwritten one, if it deals with religion, if it is related to gods and goddesses, it is called religious literature. Like the Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda, Sama Veda, all these, and the Upanishads, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, they are examples of religious literature. Okay, this is a picture of literature, of religious literature. This is a part of Vedas. Secular literature. Books and manuscripts that deal with all worldly subject. See, those books and manuscripts which deal with all the subjects in the world except religion. Okay, those books and manuscripts which deal with all worldly subjects or all the subjects in the world, any subject except religion, are called secular literature. Like Harshcharita, written by Banabhatta about the life of Harsha or Harshvardhan. Then Arthashastra, written by Kautilya, and Panchatantra, written by Vishnu Sharma. They are all secular literature. That means they are not about gods and goddesses, about all other things except gods and goddesses or religion.